Okay, I want to call to order the meeting of the Planning Board of September 22nd, 2025. And for those who are watching, we are on video, we are being Zoomed and we are being recorded. First thing on the agenda is a roll call. Margaret,
Here.
Helio,
Oh, is he still muted?
I'm here. Sorry, Zoom
Yeah, there
problems.
it is.
okay,
I'm good.
Kevin,
Yes.
and Nick is absent this evening, so we have a full meeting. I need a motion to recess and go into a public hearing for the application of the Planning Board Special Permit, PSP-25-2, 813 State Road. Oh, what is it with this darn thing, my computer? Not now. Assessors map 163, lot 63.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, my computer keeps on wanting to restart and do all kinds of funny things. Okay, Dan, we have a letter
Well,
stating that they want
do
to
you want to
continue.
do the roll call on the meeting first? We got a motion by Helio and a second by Kevin.
Okay, and roll call. Helio,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
Margaret,
Yes.
Lori Ann Miller, yes.
Okay, so we received a letter on September 17th from the applicant's engineer stating, Chairman Psychopatis, we respectfully request a continuance from our scheduled meeting with the planning board on September 22nd, 2025 to the meeting on October 20th, 2025, which will be a month. They're having a few issues with some legal components of it, so they requested that 4-week continuance. We did receive, because we are reaching the 90-day normal threshold for time to act on this, but we did receive an extension request, and that was also signed by Chairman Psychopatis, giving us until November 30th. So we're good from a time standpoint.
Any questions from the board? Hearing none, I need a motion to continue the public hearing till to October 20th, 2025 at 7 o'clock and to resume our regular meeting.
Motion made.
Second.
All in favor? Kevin,
Yes.
Margaret,
Yes.
Helio,
Yes.
Lori Ann Miller, yes. Okay. The next number 2 on the, no, number 1 actually on the agenda is an approval not required, PANR-25-3, 536 Potomska Road, Assessors Map 14, Lot 8. Dan?
Yes, this is approval not required plan for the reconfiguration of property located at 536 Potomska Road, also known as Assessors Map 14, Lot 8. This is going to be a subdivision into 7 buildable lots. 2 of the lots, numbers 5 and 7, will be estate lots. That'll require an estate lot covenant that was included in your packet. The A&R is eligible for endorsement under section 1.101A of the Dartmouth subdivision regulations. Every lot created as frontage of the distance required by the zoning bylaw on a public street or a street the town clerk certifies is maintained and used as a public street. This would allow for endorsement of the plan and also endorsement of the covenant.
Any questions from the audience? We normally don't take questions, but any questions from the audience? Any questions from board members? Hearing none, we need a motion to approve the A&R.
And also to endorse the covenant as well.
Thank you.
Motion made. Oh, seconded.
Motion made by Margaret, seconded by Kevin. All in favor? Margaret?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
Helio?
Yes.
And Lori Ann Miller, yes. Motion passes. Okay, the next on the agenda, let me get down here, is on approval not required, PANR -25 26, 595 Quantapug Road, Assessors Map 84, Lot 1. Dan, you have the floor.
Yep, this is another approval not required plan, reconfiguring map 84 lot 1 into 3 lots. 2 are labeled as buildable, 1 is non-buildable. It doesn't meet the area requirement, but it's still eligible for endorsement because all lots have the frontage of the distance required by the zoning bylaw on a public street or a street that town clerk certifies is maintained and used as a public street. So this lot, this plan is eligible for endorsement by the board.
Any questions from the board? Hearing none, I need a motion to approve the A&R.
So moved.
Second.
I have the motion made by Helio and seconded by Kevin. All in favor? Helio,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
Margaret,
yes,
and Lori Ann Miller, yes, motion carries.
And both of those plans and the covenant are in the office for the board members when you can come in to endorse all of those 3 documents.
Okay. Next on the agenda is the street determination, Stone Ledge Road, PSD-25-1. Dan, you have the, is Dan?
Yes,
you
I'm
the-
actually going to recuse myself from discussion on this item as I did at the last meeting. Ross is here and he can get you the board up to speed.
Ross, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you. So like Dan mentioned, this was at the previous meeting. It was continued due to just a couple things being still up in the air. Since then, those things have been resolved. It's a 126-foot long extension of Stone Ledge Road, continuing the width as requested. The couple of notes that were required at the time have since been added. We did receive a letter from the DPW accepting a waiver that I can read into the record if the board so wants me to, as well as matching the width as initially requested. So if you want me to read the letter in, I have it ready.
Would you please?
Yes. At the request of your office, the Department of Public Works has reviewed the roadway improvement plan drawn by SciTech Engineering and Environmental Consultants, LLC, dated July 2nd, 2025, and revised September 16th, 2025, and we find the submitted plans to be in substantial compliance with the DPW specifications. A waiver has been requested for relief of compliance with the stormwater management regulation post-stormwater volume increase. We agreed to approve the waiver subject to the following condition. The new dwelling on map 123 on a portion of lot 266 include the installation of a roof recharge system. And that is from Tim Barber, Director of Public Works.
Thank you. Any questions from board members?
I know the engineer is here too, in case he wants to add anything.
Hi, John Connell, SciTech Engineering. No, you basically have summarized, my understanding that we had complied with the DPW's requests, those the notes and everything that they wanted on the plans, and that Tim had written a letter and posted that to the Dartmouth portal, basically saying that they were okay with everything, that had met their requirements, and that they just wanted the roof recharge system for the new home that would go up out there, which is no problem. That would be done as part of the building permit, and that would be added to the building permit plot plan.
Any questions from the board members?
Nope.
Do we have anyone in the audience have questions? Hearing none, I need a motion to approve the street determination as in your packet.
If I may, I have I looked at previous motions. They're a little specific. So
Okay.
if it is to recommend a street standard to provide frontage on Stone Ledge Road at the width, grade, and material shown on the provided plans, which has the latest revision date of September 16th, 2025, with the condition outlined in the DPW letter dated September 19th, 2025 that I just read in.
That's our motion. Do I have someone?
I'll make a motion under the terms that Ross just read in, because I wouldn't remember all that, Ross, but thank
Yeah,
you.
that's why I wanted to read it, because that's a
Thank
lot.
you. I would remember all that.
You
I just
got
like
it.
to say.
I'll second.
That was Helio?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I have a motion on the floor. Margaret?
Yes,
Helio?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
And Lori Ann Miller, yes. Motion carries. Next on the agenda is a
Thank
waterways.
you, everyone. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're
Good night.
welcome. I will be, I will share this, but I will not be voting on it. I'm told I don't really have a real conflict of interest, but I just want to be on the safe side. So I can chair, but I won't vote. Dan, you have the floor on the Chapter 91 waterways.
Yes, this is similar. We had a very similar one last week. This is for 14 Water Street, also known as Assessors Map 117, Lot 11. It's basically a notification we get from the DEP. It's being brought forward by Alan Haru, and this one is for license and maintaining an existing fixed pier, gangway, and floats, stone revetment, boat ramp, and proper floats. We were notified under the Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection regulations that the application was submitted. Normally the planning board acknowledges receipt of this notification, and in your packet, we have the standard letter we sent. So it's just basically to acknowledge receipt and to authorize me to prepare the letter to get back to Mr. Haru.
Do I have a motion on the floor or any questions?
so moved.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor that's been, excuse me, motioned by Margaret and seconded by Kevin. All in favor? Margaret,
Yes,
Kevin,
Yes.
Helio,
Yes.
and I will abstain. So motion carries. The next thing on the agenda is we have an appointment with Christian Fallon for 676 Dartmouth Street, which is the over 55 complex. Kristen, are you on the meeting? I can't.
I don't see him
I-
listed.
yeah.
I don't either.
Is there anybody waiting? There's no like wait, right? It would just show up in the list.
Nope, this is DCTV here. No waiting room tonight.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, why don't we go on to
Yeah,
6,
and give
maybe
him
he'll come on.
Give him a few minutes.
Yeah.
Minutes were included in the packet. If everything looks good, just recommend the typical acknowledge and file.
So I need a motion, well, no, we need to approve them. We need to approve minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was skipping ahead to the next
You were
one.
skipping ahead.
Motion to approve the minutes and file. I was too excited. I was going fast.
Motion to
I need a
approve.
motion on the floor to approve the minutes of the planning board of September 8th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Motion was made by Margaret and seconded by Kevin. All in favor, Margaret,
Yes,
Kevin,
Yes.
Helio,
Yes.
and Lori Ann Miller, yes, motion carries. We might as well go to correspondence.
This is the one we just want to acknowledge and file.
Correct.
This is just one notification for Westport. It was for a zoning enforcement issue. So I would just, unless there's any questions, this one I would recommend to acknowledge and file.
Thank you. I need a motion on the floor to acknowledge and file correspondence.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion made by Helio and seconded by Kevin. All in favor, I shouldn't say all in favor. Helio,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
Margaret,
yes,
And Lori Ann Miller, yes. For your information, Dan, Ross, do you have anything under this?
Nothing new for
New
zoning,
business?
zoning board applications or, any new decisions that were done. If you wanna, I don't know if anybody's got any subcommittee reports that you wanna go through first before we get to the next one.
Yeah. Anyone on the board have a subcommittee report?
Not I.
Nothing from, for me.
Nothing.
Nothing?
But-
Hmm,
For the planners report, just want to confirm have an additional meeting scheduled for next week, the 29th at 7 o'clock. That'll be in person. Ross has set that up with DCTV. We'll have a agenda ready to go for first thing Thursday morning. I know many of you have come in. We've kind of discussed a few items. Ross and I have been getting as much information as we can together to have for the board to review, ask questions. We'll have, I think you all saw plans that we had created to try to get outlines of what we're looking for, what all the board members are looking for. Also have the town's water and sewer systems at the same scale, so you can get a gauge on what kind of infrastructure we have in any areas that any board members would be looking at. Again, if anybody has anything, wants to come in and talk about to make sure we have ready to have for that discussion, please feel free to reach out. It's kind of a busy week with meetings and different things going on. So if you are, I would just recommend giving me a call before you head down. But other than that, I'll be glad to meet with everybody so we can have a productive a meeting as we can.
okay, anything else under? Margaret, did you say something?
No, not I, said the spider to the fly.
Okay, we're not gonna hang around for Christian, I'm afraid. I mean, any idea, Dan, if he forgot?
I got an email that he was going to be zooming on. I know he said he had
Okay,
he was coaching his son's game, but it sounded like he would be on in plenty of time. I didn't feel like he wasn't going to make it. I'll just check my email again real quick, making sure I haven't received anything else.
So what do we do in a case like this? It's not really an appointment.
No.
I mean, it's
I
not,
mean, if the board so chooses, I can give a little quick breakdown of what the concern is, so at least the board's aware of it, and
I think that would be good, Dan.
we
This
can
is
go from there.
It's a unique situation.
Yeah.
yeah, I would like that, Dan.
Okay. And then if he gets on the next few minutes, great. If not, we'll see what we can do from here. So basically what this is, the Amelia Apartments, it's at 676 Dartmouth Street, assessors map 133, 241. It's right next door to the Delano Apartments that the board, approved last year, finalized the beginning of this year. Originally this was approved as 55 units, 110 parking spaces were required, 115 were proposed. They were given an occupancy permit for the existing use on December 30th, 2019. As it was actually constructed, the parking facility has 89 standard spaces and 2 handicap spaces. Again, 110 was supposed to be required. I don't have much in the office to say what was done, how this was done, if there was work between the boards to okay this. In the packet, I did find draft plans of the landscaping plan and a layout plan that showed the configuration as it is shown now. It shows the 89 spaces and 2 handicap. One issue of concern, besides the fact that there wasn't enough spaces built, there was only 2 handicaps shown where 4 would be required. If they were coming in to ask for a reduction, that is something the board could have done under the special permit, which we did similarly next door. Obviously, it's been 6 years. There hasn't been a need for more parking that's out there. I've driven by a handful of times, never see the parking lot is full. A lot of the spaces are under the building in a underground garage, similar to Delano, but the parking spaces that are surface parking, it never appears to be full. So again, if it was something that they had come to the board and asked for a special permit for a reduction based on what we've seen for the past 6 years, I think I would recommend granting that special permit to the board, but this is kind of unique because it was done. If you look at the design plan that was included with the proposed plan, the differences are where the dumpsters are. It was a much smaller area over there. There was only room for maybe one dumpster, maybe two. They expanded that to have multiple dumpsters, so you lost a few parking spaces over there. And then they took out a row of parking spaces along the front of the building where they did landscaping and like an entry port, covered entry port. They could loop in and, drop somebody off. Like I said, building department signed off on it. DPW didn't had a plan on file showing this configuration as it was built. They didn't have any comments on it. I found the two plans in our files in the office. So in some way, shape, or form, this was discussed at some point. But to say there was an approval, yes, no, you're not going to be able to do this, that we're missing. That's why I was hoping Christian Fallon would come in, maybe give us some backstory on the pieces of information we're missing. Building inspector is not there anymore, so that signed it, so I can't ask him. Obviously, me and Ross weren't here at the time, so we're missing a little bit of information on how we got to this point. But again, if it was something they're coming in asking us, there is that ability to do a special permit for that reduction, but procedural wise, I don't know how we got here.
Well, so Dan, may I ask a quick question, Madam Chair?
Yes,
Um,
please.
So in all the records, there is no as-built plan.
The plan he submitted with this package, but we wouldn't have asked for one. The only people that might have had one was the Department of Public Works.
And wouldn't the
But
building department,
it's something we would ask for other than for the building.
wouldn't the building department have it?
Only the building.
Right, only the building, okay.
Yeah, only
But there would be a plan as built, right?
of the building, not
Yeah.
the whole facility.
Yes.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. Yes.
So is there a plan of the building as built?
I didn't look for it. I was more looking to see if there was an some kind of like
Right.
administrative approval or something
Yeah.
like that. So I didn't look for an actual just foundation as built.
Right, okay.
Madam Chair, if I can.
Please.
So, and to your question, Margaret, building departments don't always receive record drawings of the building.
Mhm.
Changes are made. The owner will typically get an as-built or a record drawing of the building. Not all municipalities will retain that. In the absence of Christian's attendance, I think, assuming he'll reach out to inquire about a possible other meeting, I would love to understand why it was never built according to the planning board's approval. Let's get the context and the background of why we're here talking about this. I'd also like to understand if there are only 2 handicap spaces provided. I'd also like to understand what the minimum requirements are compared to the 2 that are there. Always a little bit concerned with handicap spaces not meeting the minimum allotment or requirement. It's a civil rights issue with the ADA and the Mass Architectural Access Board. So that would play into any discussion that this board would have further to parking requirements. So having that understanding, I think it would give the board some more context of why we're even here. And, we can obviously deliberate, the benefits of green space versus the number of parking. Maybe it might also behoove the applicant to reach out to the Walgreens that kind of shares the site. If we're going to be providing relief from a minimum parking spaces, then can the site burden the Walgreens by having residents or visitors on their lot? I agree, like a lot of people, we drive by there, we go to the Walgreens, there never seems to be a lack of parking. But if we're going to approve this, we don't want to shift the burden of the requirement onto the to the abutter. So I would raise those 3 points with Christian, Dan.
Madam Chairman, if I can just respond quickly to that. So
Yes,
the Walgreens is actually a separate parcel, and then there's what Christian has submitted on his, basically an as-built plan, is that it's an access easement to go over Walgreens property to get to the property off of Dartmouth Street. So it is a separate parcel. It's not like the one next door where Dollar General was part of the same parcel and the parking facility was intertwined. So it is a standalone. So this parcel, I forget what it was.
Rite Aid.
No, where the Amelia Apartments, it was a boat place.
That was the
Well,
Marine. Yeah, Gifford Marine.
Gifford
Yeah,
Marine.
Gifford Marine. There you go. So that was what was there for sitting at the
Right.
general footprint of what's Amelia now.
Yeah, Dan, I don't question that, but
And I'm going by just what he put on the plan. He's showing one handicap spot in the parking lot, and he's saying there's one handicap space in the garage. So that would obviously have to be verified. Understanding we're probably a couple shy. That'll have to be accounted for if the board does do a special permit request.
Yeah, and I don't disagree. I don't disagree with that at all. If they've provided 89 spaces and at any given time they need 95, then where are those 6 people going to park? In the Walgreens? And I don't think, just to be safe, we shouldn't burden the abutter with overflow parking. And it's all hypothetical. We don't know if it's needed yet.
And part of the special permit through Article 24 is that you have to show what we refer to as ghost spaces on the property, that if the parking ever did become burdensome, that there is a spot on the property to build the missing spaces, which obviously there were because they were designed that way originally.
well, I think we should continue it. I'd like to hear how this happened.
Okay, I have a few comments to make since I was on the board when this was done.
Mhm.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Dad, but we do not have an approved plan for this site. I don't know how that happened, but it has not happened. If you go in and look at the packet that the planning board has, there's a number of plans that were submitted to the planning board. The very last one was a draft. Some of I think the second or third one that was submitted shows 4 handicap parking spaces up against, it abuts the building, and that's where I think they should be. Right now, I drove there this morning or this afternoon. I spent about 25 minutes sitting in the parking lot just watching. That parking lot is never filled, number one. I mean, never. I go to the post office, I go to Walgreens, I go to DeMello School. I have to this day ever seen that parking lot full. And that includes Christmas because I drive by it Thanksgiving because I drive by it on Thanksgiving Day. Number 2, the plan that we originally looked at showed 4 handicap spaces parked against the building. Where the handicap space is now, you have to walk across what's considered the road where the people drive by to get to the door. You have to hop onto the sidewalk to go into the building. And I'm sorry, I'm not approving that. There is no way that I am going to approve the handicap spaces being where they want to put them. We would not do that in any other project. Handicap spaces for 55 and older should be abutting the building. And I cannot picture someone being in a wheelchair or someone being with a cane or crutches, walking the distance that they have to walk to get into that building. It's wrong, and it's maybe just me, but I'm sorry. I would like to go back to one of the plans that the planning board looked at and approved, but evidently didn't approve, because I was on the board at the time. And there's a draft, but there are no approved plans. To be quite honest with you, I do not know how they got a building permit. I do not know how they got an occupancy permit. Because there's no approved plan. I went down to the building inspector. I talked with him, and he has no idea. He says, I don't know how this happened. He wasn't the building inspector at the time, and Dan was not our planning department, the director at the time. So you have my viewpoint on this. There were better plans submitted, and they were, tweaked, and I'm sorry, I'm not voting for anything that has the handicap parking where it's located. It's not gonna happen.
Well, I happen to agree with you, Laurie, because it's ridiculous that they have to walk across a parking lot, wheelchair across a parking lot, when in the plans that they were for and right in front. If I'm not mistaken, weren't they right in front?
Yes, they were, and I double checked. There is room for them to put them there.
Okay, well, I kind of agree with you because, since I fractured my ankle, I know what that's like. So, and that's minor compared to what some people have to put up with. So I think
And why I'm really so adamant about this is, I dealt with my mother, and about 20 years ago, I was in a wheelchair for 6 weeks. I could not put any pressure on my foot. I had a fracture that went from my knee to my ankle. So I totally understand handicapped accessibility.
it's important.
Believe me.
Important.
Yeah, if you look in the, sorry, Madam Chair, if I can
Go
add
ahead.
something. Sheet 36 in the packet, the landscaping plan that was labeled draft.
Mhm.
And these draft plans came in, if you look at the dates, like a year after when the plans got approved. So this seems like, construction had been going on and whatever happened. But if you see on the landscaping plan, they do show 2 proposed
Parking spaces, yes,
out of the landscaping, so there definitely is room to make it work if they come back for that special permit.
Yeah, I think the number of spaces is a little bit peculiar. I'll also comment, and Dan, you would know this better than I would, that as far as handicap parking spaces, the requirement is that they're located on the shortest accessible route to the accessible entrance. There's no specific distance required other than they're in the shortest. I think the bigger issue is if there was a previous plan approved by the planning board or any other entity, it appears that it may not have been followed. I think that's, in my view, my opinion, the biggest challenge. And Dan, again, if you could offer it, I don't think there's anything illegal from a design perspective about where the spots are located. Could they have been closer? Yeah, logically they could have been. Where there are, I don't think it's illegal. But why are there only 2? Why did they end up being located where they are?
Correct. I think those are the questions to ask. Are there really only 2? And if there are 2, why? Well, what was the mechanism to get us to this point? And what can the board do to get this back into some semblance of compliance, whether it's via special permit or whatever other options it might be?
But this could open up a can of worms, Dan, because how did this happen? And if it happened here, has it happened somewhere else?
Very true. Which brings you to, obviously, we don't want to just sign off and say, yes, everything's okay. That's why I would say they're going to come in requesting a special permit. I definitely wouldn't recommend just the board saying, yes, we're okay with this, let's move on. I think they definitely should come in with a special permit request.
Dan, do we have to do just a special permit, or because there is no approved plan on record, we have to approve the whole thing to make it legal?
No, because the plans were done under a special permit for over 55 housing. So the plans were approved under the over 55 housing. So this would just be a special permit to allow a reduction in parking.
I'm confused Dan.
Yeah, I'm confused too. They did not, so you're saying there's a plan approved, but they didn't build to spec.
Correct. Under the application for a special permit for over 55 housing, if the plans they submit are in compliance with the appropriate regulations of site plan review, that approved plan acts as the site plan approval.
Yeah, and the building department, inspectional services must have copies of the permitted drawings. Yes, they must.
Not that we've been
Or-
able to find yet.
No,
Really?
that's the problem, Helio. There are no,
Right.
All we've been able to find is these draft plans that I included in the packet.
Oh, you were referring to,
I was under the,
wow.
sorry, it's Helio's time.
Sorry, Kevin. I was just surprised. I wasn't understanding that Dan had done the research through inspectional services in the building department. I thought it was just through the planning board's own documentation, but
no.
that's a game changer.
And it all says draft.
And it was all signed off on, so it's not like it just hasn't been signed off. Occupancy permit was granted December 30th, 2019, so we're approaching 6 years. It's been fully permitted. Well,
Well, it isn't.
department through the building department.
When was the, give me that date again?
December 30th, 2019.
And the draft says what? January,
The draft of the lands, hold on, I gotta shrink it back down a little bit.
I gotta get mine bigger.
The draft of the landscape, it's jumping on me, come on. The draft of the landscaping plan was
June 20th.
6/4/19 was the landscaping plan. The
Yep.
layout plan, I can find it again.
Is that the June 20th, 2019?
Hold on, give me 1 second. I gotta get to the right one. That revision was sent in 6/19. Nope, 6/18/19.
Yeah, and so 6/18/2019 was this draft. And when was the building, the occupancy pit?
12/30/2019. So that leads me to believe the building was pretty well under construction
Under construction.
when these draft plans came in.
Yep, so the draft plan came in after.
Yeah, so somewhere during construction, there's a missing piece we're missing. Somebody made a request to alter the parking.
And this is because the bank picked up on it and not us.
Some kind of financing.
But Laurie, we would never pick up on it. The
No, we
planning board
wouldn't.
would never pick up on it.
No,
It wasn't we voted on it. We said, okay. And how were we to know that they were 19 parking places short?
The only way we would know is because 2 draft plans were submitted. What happened after they submitted? Somehow plans were submitted, draft plans showing this proposed scenario. Where did they go from there is the question.
yeah, where did they go? We have draft plans, we don't have approved plans. And they were submitted after the building permit or the occupancy permits were given. This draft plan, this is the last.
No. The
plan.
draft plans that weren't given before the occupancy.
They were after.
The draft plans were given in the summer. The occupancy was given
Given in
12/30.
December.
Yeah.
Okay,
So somewhere along the way, they submitted these plans saying, "Hey, can we alter our layout?" To somebody.
Well, not to the planning board.
They're in our files
as drafts.
as drafts.
Drafts.
So somebody knew.
Jeez.
So, I mean, unfortunately, it would have been nice if they had their representative here that hopefully could have filled this in, so I'm gonna have to see if he can come in at another meeting to try to explain this to us so the board can make a better determination on how to proceed.
It has to come,
Right.
we all have questions, Dan, so.
Right.
If they
It
want.
might be something that he can point us to some documents that we just don't have currently, and that'll hopefully solve that issue, and then we can go forward with requesting a special permit.
Is it just a special permit since we don't have an approved plan on file?
Yes, all you're doing is saying that that the reduction is warranted, basically.
Yeah, but if there's, I was under the impression that there was a plan that was submitted,
Mhm.
approved by the planning board, went to DPW, everything got settled there. And then at some point somewhere, it got changed. And what I'm hearing, if I heard it right, nobody has a plan that was approved by planning board, DPW, and
No, there was a plan approved by the planning board under the
Right.
special permit for over 55 housing. Per Article 24, the planning board can to give a special permit to reduce parking up to half of what's required if one of four conditions are met and the area of the unbuilt parking spaces normally required is maintained in a open condition. Parking spaces could be built on site, but the proposed use is such that it can be demonstrated that the full number is not needed. I'm assuming that's the condition they'll go with. Then it goes into the applicant shall demonstrate through the submission of the plan that the number of parking spaces as required by the provisions of Article 24 can be accommodated on the site. In granting the special permit, the planning board shall also find that the proposed reduction in parking will not contribute to congestion in the neighborhood. Planning board may also add any conditions to protect the neighborhood and to ensure compliance with any of the above requirements for the special permit. Very similar to what we did next door to Delano. We had a special permit for the over 55 that had the site plan. Then we had a special permit that they came back for. There was some issues with landscaping islands and everything else. So they did similar to this. They did a row of go spaces. That was a separate special permit for the parking reduction.
Now, Dan, the first plan that's on this agenda is
Yep.
the one that shows the parking along the front of the building. Is that the site plan that we're talking about that was originally approved?
The first plan, the
Yeah,
first plan is what's built there now with showing go spaces.
No, what's built there now is strictly a sidewalk. I was there, I looked at it.
Yes. Are you looking at sheet number 33 of the packet?
Number 33, I don't know what number it is, 35, no, number 35.
35, okay.
It
sure
shows
that-
parking and it shows the handicapped
Right.
in front of the building.
Mhm.
Yes, that was what, as much as I can tell, was approved under the special permit for the original request. Now, there had
And
been
so
many
that's what
revisions. There had been
that's
many
what should have been-
revisions since then, revised landscaping, a whole series of DPW comments, Board of Health comments. So there had been a whole bunch of other things that had been revised on the plan set.
But I don't ever remember the
Wow.
planning board revising this plan that's on page 35.
I wouldn't doubt you.
I don't ever remember them, because I am such a stickler about handicap parking being as close to a door as possible. There's no way that they came before us and revised this plan.
Well, again, the landscaping plan does show those two parking spaces being up near the building. That didn't seem
Right.
like they got built. So if they did come before, you would have thought, well, they got two spots right up against the building. We'll be okay.
Right.
So
It-
again,
yeah.
there's just a couple of just missing pieces that we just don't have to be able to make an adequate decision right now.
Okay, so what, if the board agrees, excuse me, my getting words out today is awful. If the board agrees, I would suggest that we contact Christian Fallon and ask him to come before us at our next public meeting.
Yeah, I mean, it's 7:45 now, so we've given them more than enough time to make an
Yeah.
appearance.
I mean, does the board agree with that?
I absolutely do, Laurie. We need to find out how this happened.
Yeah,
As I
fully,
said.
fully on board.
Yeah, we
And-
don't
and-
want this to happen again.
Obviously, the owner has some motivation to do this too. I mean,
Hmm.
I don't think we're gonna have to drag him kicking and screaming. And this was their suggestion to come in, right?
Right, because they're being held up financially.
Yeah.
Evidently the bank picked this up.
Yeah, well, I can't speak on that, but that's what I was hoping Christian could discuss.
Okay, well, too bad he's not here.
Okay, so we'll call him, you can call him Dan tomorrow or whenever, and put him on the next regular meeting.
Okay. Would you want to have that on the meeting on Monday in person, or you want to
No.
just keep it just to what we're
No.
doing?
We're
Okay.
gonna, that's my
Regular-
feeling, ask the chair, but, you know,
Regular meeting.
yes, regular,
So that would
I mean,
be on
we're
the
fighting to
September.
we're fighting to get this meeting for next week,
Right.
so let's not go.
Right.
No problem. No problem. Just wanted to confirm.
Yeah.
So that'll be for the October 6th meeting.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Anyone else have anything to come before the board? Dan, Ross, anything to come before the board?
Nope.
No, ma'am.
Go ahead.
Nope, I was saying no.
Thank you. I need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay.
Second.
Kevin made the motion, Helio made the second. So, Kevin,
Yes.
Helio,
Yes.
Margaret,
yes.
and Lori Ann Miller, yes. To let everybody know, next week we are having a meeting, which is going to be a workshop meeting. We're going to go over maps, etc., and look at zoning in the town of Dartmouth. And then our next regular meeting will be October, what is it, Dan?
October 6th.
6th.
Yep.
Okay, thank you, very good night, everybody.
Good night,
Thank you very
everybody.
much.
Good night.
Great night.